Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Virtualization Basics conference call hosted by Michael Weiss. My name's Alison and I'm your event manager. During the presentation, your lines will remain on listen only. If you require assistance at any time, please key *0 on your telephone and a coordinator will be happy to assist you. I'd like to advise all parties this conference is being recorded for replay purposes. And now I'd like to hand over to Marco. Please go ahead.
Hello everyone and welcome to the webcast about the virtualization basics. My name is Marco Simonite. I'm product marketing manager for Primary System here at Fujitsu, and also in this room is Klaus Blum, who is our expert when it comes to virtualization. Hello. Today we would like to give you an overview about virtualization, and especially for those partners of you who are not familiar with virtualization. So the agenda for the next hour is divided in 6 parts. So first of all, we start with some general information about virtualization. What is it? What is the benefit for you and also for your customer? After that, we will have a closer look to the virtualization vendors, and we will also provide some guidance on what can be virtualized and what not. Backup solution for virtualization is also one of the topics, as well as some details about the migration of physical servers to virtual servers. At the end, I will give you some information about Make IT Dynamic, as well as what is our partner support here. Okay, before we start, here a short overview about the requirements we see at our customer base. So basically the business priority of any customer is to grow, and that means that also the IT must follow. In order to do so, an IT environment is required which is flexible to rapidly provide new services when it is required, and also it should be efficient and reduce the complexity and the cost. Now, last but not least, the IT needs a high quality in order to improve the service levels as well as the end-user satisfaction. So virtualization can here be a very important part, but let's start with the traditional IT infrastructure. Here, every application runs on a single server. That means that the server is not is really underutilized, and also takes a long time to provide new services. That leads us to an IT infrastructure which have a low flexibility, a low efficiency, and also a low quality. In order to overcome these let's say disadvantages, virtualization is, as I mentioned before, a key solution here. So what we see on the left side is the traditional IT infrastructure, where every workload runs on a single server. This infrastructure can also run on a single server, which you see on the right side. In order to do so, a hypervisor is required. So from a logical standpoint, this hypervisor is between the hardware layer on the bottom and also between the software layer or the operating system layer. And the hypervisor takes care about the whole communication between these both layers. Okay, coming now to the benefits which are connected to virtualization. So on the one hand, the resources are better used, and also thanks to the consolidation, this results in lower energy, lower cooling, and lower space requirements and costs, of course. On the other hand, the customer has an IT infrastructure which is very flexible, so we can provide new services within some minutes and not within some days. And they also have the ability to use load balancing, which means that the dynamic use of resources. Furthermore, high availability is also possible with virtualization, as it is more or less the platform for, as virtualization is more or less the platform for high availability solutions. Virtualization also has some hardware requirements, but this is not an issue because all primary servers include the Intel features for virtualization, which are required to move virtual machines from one host to another host. They are also optimized for virtualization. As you see it on the right side, they have the right performance. So compared to previous generation of Intel chipsets, they increase their performance for virtualization by a factor 8. Furthermore, primary servers takes mostly leadership in virtualization benchmarks such as VMmark. They also have the features like VDD or VTC for virtual networks, which are particularly required for clustering solutions. I would like now hand over to Klaus Blum, who will give you more insight into the virtualization solution.
Yes, hello everybody. Now let us speak a little bit more about the different vendors are available on the market and about the architecture. And you see here a nice picture, and you see, let us come to the architecture, that the architecture is very, very similar between the vendors. And the first vendor is VMware. He is the absolutely market leader on the virtualization market. Also, there are Microsoft with a product called Hyper-V, and also there is c-tec with the Xen server. And you see on this picture that the Xen server architecture and the VMware architecture from vSphere is really absolutely identical. Only the product from Microsoft with the Hyper-V product is a little bit different because Microsoft is going the way you can add a role inside the Windows server to get the Hyper-V server, to get a Hyper-V server, and you can work with the server also, yes, as a file server or whatever you want. Let us at the end let us a little bit discuss if this is really useful to do this. Yes, and you see here the hypervisor that's between the hardware and the virtual machines. That means you install these virtual machines on top of the hypervisor, and the hypervisor is the corresponding point, yes, to your hardware. And we have done tests with all the different hypervisors, and overall you must say that really the speed or the quality of these hypervisors, they are nearly identical. There you know. Now let us look a little bit deeper to the vSphere. I've said VMware is the absolutely market leader in virtualization. At the time where VMware was working in virtualization, there was absolutely no idea, for example, at the Microsoft side about virtualization, but they are coming. What I wanted to say is VMware is the absolutely market leader, and of course, because of this, they have a lot of functionality with the product. You can buy it with the product, you can use it with the product. Some of these functionality is still today not available at some other vendors. For example, let me take the short example about FT, that's fault tolerance. With this feature, you you can have your complete site double. That means you have a complete area with servers, with storage, and all this network. You have it both, and both are working. And if one side goes down, the other side is still working, and your customer, your end customer, doesn't see any problem with the applications. For example, this feature is not available at the other vendors because VMware is still the market leader. Another point which is very, very important for VMware is that all the drivers and all the software comes only from VMware. That means you get all things out of one box, and this is on the one side. This is very, very good because if you have problems, on the other side, therefore some things are a little bit limited. For example, special network cards are not supported. One very great product from VMware that's called ESXi server. This is a very, very small footprint of hypervisor which is available, and this will be the future for the hypervisor at VMware. Of course, also VMware has now a product for desktop virtualization. It's called VMware View, and of course, if you are speaking about desktop virtualization and virtualization, you are also speaking about cloud computing. Another also important point is VMware now is delivering APIs, so that the storage vendors, for example, can make their own software just to use virtual machines inside a storage, for example, for snapshots and all these things. So we are going to the next slide. Yes, why should a customer use vSphere? Yeah, there are some very important points. One is if the customer wants to follow the market leader, take it, of course. If you want to use, for example, the feature I've told about you, the fault tolerance, then you have also always to take the VMware products. The second very important point is if you have lots of different operating systems which should be run in virtual machines, and there are old operating systems, for example, NT4. VMware has a huge range of supported guest operating system that is the biggest list you've ever seen. And of course, if you have still VMware virtualization, there makes no sense to change the hypervisor because the functionality is similar. There are different editions available from VMware. Today the product vSphere 4.5, I think it's the actual software, and there will come in the future the vSphere 5, and they have different editions depending on how much memory is supported, or yes, and how much CPUs are supported and so on. Very, very familiar is the Essentials and the Essential Plus bundle This is available on the market. It's made for people which are starting with virtualization with vSphere. It's from the pricing here, it's very interesting. Yeah. One point you see here, a VMware with a virtual machine with VMware can use up to 32 CPUs and can use up to 1 terabyte RAM, whoever needs that. But you will see in the future all the other vendors like Microsoft, they will support in the future. I think all these huge range of RAM. We will see. Okay, let us speak a little bit about the Hyper-V from Microsoft. This product is available as a role inside the normal Windows 2008 R2 server. You can install this role and then you have the possibility for virtualization. Also, this product is available for free. That means you can download it from Microsoft and you can use it. But be careful, this product is without any user interface. You have a command line, and this product is, you can't install any other services or programs on this free downloadable software. That means also you can't, for example, install an agent on it. So you can't use server view or all these things. But most popular, of course, is the normal role in the 2008 R2 server. There you have the user interface, and then that's the look and feel. You know if you are working with Microsoft products, and you have not to learn things about the new user interface.
Before continuing, we have one question. What is the difference between VRAM and RAM?
Yes, yes. Let me say it's a name. It's called from VMware. It's called virtual RAM, and it's the RAM. The virtual machine has.
It's assigned.
Yes, it's assigned to the machine. Yes. You will see also if you compare a little bit, if you read some white papers or something else between Microsoft and VMware, you will see lots of things which they describe the same, but they have other names. That's all. Yes. I told you that the hypervisor at Microsoft is a role in the 2008 R2 server. That means that therefore no more things must be certificated. That means all things which are certificated for the Windows are also certificated for the Hyper-V, because Hyper-V is only a role. Of course, the hypervisor comes from Microsoft. All other things are integrated. That means if you are using, for example, the System Center family, the hypervisor with all possibilities is also integrated in the System Center suite. And another key feature, of course, is that things like live migration or high availability for the cluster, this is inside the product. You mustn't buy more things. It's all inside the product, and also the management, the basic management you have to use. It's inside the product. only if you are going to more automating things, or then you can take the virtual machine manager. We will speak about that a little bit later. The desktop virtualization is also supported, and there they take a combination with the c-tec connection broker, and then great. Yes, why should a customer use Hyper-V? That's very, very easy. If the customer is using today the Microsoft products, then of course you have to take, the easiest way is to take then also the Hyper-V, because the product fits perfectly in the complete line of Microsoft products. Therefore, you have the management. You know it. You see the MMC, for example. With this MMC, you can normally manage also the functionality from the hypervisor. You can make new virtual machines, start, stop, and whatever. And also a very, very important point is the pricing. If you start with virtualization with Microsoft, it's inside the product. You have, of course, the virtual machines you are installing. Therefore, you must have also license. But that's the same as the VMware. Yeah, the Hyper-V role is included in we've spoken about this in the Windows Server 2008 R2. There in the standard enterprise and data center edition, also in the HPC edition. For example, it's not included in the web server because that makes no sense, working with a web server and virtual machines. These different editions, like at different editions at VMware, depending on different functions and different supporting at memory, for example, and in licensing, for example, the data center edition does support unlimited virtual machines, or does support licensing in unlimited virtual machines. The Enterprise Edition, for example, supports 4 virtual machines, which are still at one moment running. Of course, you can install more, but you have not to use it at the same time. The System Center Virtual Machine Manager, called VMM 2008 R2, there we sell a special edition. It's the Workgroup Edition. This Workgroup Edition supports up to 5 physical hosts, but the function of the System Center Virtual Machine Manager is like the full product. That means all possibilities are there. And the live migration, that means I can take a running machine from one node without interruption for the end user to another host. It's available in the Enterprise Edition and in the Data Center Edition. The reason for this is very, very easy, because the live migration is based on the Microsoft cluster, and a cluster is not possible at the Standard Edition. Therefore, you have to use the Enterprise and the Data Center Edition. Yes, if you compare now, if you make a small composition of this hypervisor, of these both, of course you see there, because of the vSphere product, it's well known on the market, and there are lots of features inside it, and yes, it's the main product on the market. But if you look a little bit more in detail, you see, of course, lots of features. Perhaps you don't need them. for example, the fault tolerance. If you don't need them, of course, it's also great to take the 2008 R2 hypervisor. If you are thinking about virtualization, there are some points you have to look at. Of course, you have to look also to this point if you are making not a virtualization. But let us speak a little bit about that. The first point is about licensing. Some software is based on licensing based on CPU. Some others are based on hosts. So you have to decide, or you must have a look on it. If your hypervisor, how is the licensing is for your hypervisor? How is the licensing for your installed operating system inside the virtual machine? How is the licensing for application? So be careful about this. If you have special hardware inside your machine you want to migrate into a virtual machine, be careful. There are, for example, special PCI cards you can't use inside a virtual machine. So have a look to this. Of course, your hardware must support all things about virtualization. For example, if you have a very old machine and you want to run virtual machines on this, it's not possible because the VT feature doesn't exist in old machines. Also, have a look to your load. That means CPU, memory load, I/O load about your virtual machines, about your physical machines. We will speak a little bit later about this in more detail. Another point is you must be sure that your application you want to run inside the virtual machine does support this, or the vendor does support this, that the virtual machine is now running that the software is now running in a virtual machine. Some vendor doesn't allow this, or you lose the support. That could be another problem. We will speak about also later about raw device mapping. We will speak about this later on. And we have also a special picture for the network layout. Yeah. Which machine is perfect for virtualization? First you have to say all. You can make virtual machines from all you see. But we will see later on, sometimes it makes no sense. Now let us look for absolutely suited applications. If you have low CPU load, if you have low workload, if you have low I/O load, for example, this machine this machine is needed only by some people, then this machine is a good candidate for virtualization. Of course, the operating system and the application should support this to run in virtual machines. Yeah, and if you have, and which machines are not suited for virtualization, that's very easy, because if you have a machine with an extremely high, for example, CPU memory or I/O load, then you can this virtualize, but that makes no sense to do that, because you have always a little bit more I/O load on this machine if it is virtualized. That's very, it's only a little bit, but it is. Also, if you have an operating system where you need, or an application where you need really really low latency inside the application, then it's much better to leave this on a separate machine, because if you put this in a virtual machine environment, then of course other virtual machines are running also on the same hardware, and that could not be a good idea to do this. Another point is, if you have special hardware like dongles or special ISDN cards or special PCI cards, which are running in your hardware today, there you have no chance to put this inside a virtual machine. Of course, you have also looked to the licensing. Some licensing roles doesn't you allow to virtualize a special one special application. Yes, we have spoken a little bit about licensing. If you run, for example, a virtual machine on a cluster, then this virtual machine and of course the application can run on different hosts, and some vendors, they say, okay, then you have to licensing all the hosts where the application can run on it. That could be very expensive. Also, on the other way, it is possible that some companies say, okay, it's independent where the hardware is running, where the software is running. In this case, you increase the licensing costs. Good example is here, if you have a look to the SAP licensing or the Oracle licensing. This is completely different, and you must be very, very careful if you are thinking about virtualization. You have an eye on this. You have to look on this. Be careful. Yeah. The key of a virtual machine is that the point is that the whole virtual machine is only one file. At the Microsoft Hyper-V or on the Sun server side, it's called a VHD file. At the VMware, it's called a VMDK file. But it's from the idea, it's the same. That means you have your whole installation, your whole machine. It's at the end of the day, it's only one file. And of course, you can make a copy of this file. You can make a snapshot of this file, and there are a lot of possibilities about that. And it's always the same. If you have look at VMware or at Microsoft, it's the same. And here the storage vendors are also involved, because they give you some possibilities like snapshotting, etc., to run this on the storage, and you must not use it out of a virtual machine. There are lots of possibilities. Another point is, of course, you can pass through, for example, a complete LUN to a virtual machine. It's called raw device mapping, or Microsoft, I think it was named pass-through drive. That's you have to put a complete LUN, give the virtual machine a complete LUN, and then it can work with that. Yeah, we have spoken about it, like snapshotting and to make a copy of a VM. A VM is just a file, so you can do lots of things which are file-based. And there are lots of possibilities, though we have spoken about this, and we have decided to make an own webcast, backup, restore, and recovery. And I think Marco will later speak about this when this webcast does exist. So yes, you can. Yes, the backup is it's an own point inside the virtualization story. Yes, networking. Networking is also an extremely important point. You must really have a look on this. From the main function, it's very, very easy. You have your physical machine, and you say inside the hypervisor, you say, okay, I will make a virtual switch. And this virtual switch you can then connect to your physical NIC, to your network card. And if you are installing a virtual machine, you can say, okay, I want to access with my virtual machine this virtual switch. And yeah, that's all. Of course, you can make lots of virtual switches, and you can give your virtual machine. You may give them lots of cards if you want. The whole networking, yeah, it's at all vendors. It's, yes, let me say, state of the art. They support really internal networks. They support also networks to outside, and of course the VLAN technology is full supported. You must be careful with the planning of these network things, because the vMotion or live migration, yes, if you have a problem with vMotion or live migration, then most of the time it's a problem in your networking, that there is something wrong. Important point is to make internal networks also. That means the network doesn't go out of the box, out of your host. So if you have different virtual machines on one host and they are speaking with each other, then no traffic will leave the host. Yes, how to come from a physical machine to a virtual machine? One very, very easy way, it's the migration P2V, physical to virtual. You have to plan it, of course. You must be careful with, for example, what's my Active Directory, and of course all the things like dongles or something else. That's the question that's not working inside the virtual machines. There's no point from the P2V migration. The P2V migration is from every vendor. They have special tools for this, or it's inside the management stack. And also for the P2V migration, there are independent tools on the market. For example, from this internals, they have a pretty cool command line tool. It's very, very small. It's only some 100K, and it's really working perfect. If you of course, VMware is supporting these tools or other tools, and also the c-tec people. But be careful. Sometimes it depends on your situation. Sometimes there is no way back. because you can't stop, for example, the virtual machine and boot again the physical machine. For example, if your Active Directory has changed because of another AU or something else, then these things is not possible, and or you must work a little bit so that after that's possible. Okay, now I switch over to Marco Simonite. He has some very interesting information for you about the whole dynamic strategy.
Thanks, Klaus. I would give you some information about Make It Dynamic, which basically covers a broad range of solution blocks that are designed and priced for, especially for SMB customers. So these solution blocks focus on 4 main areas, which are virtualization, backup, high availability, as well as SAN infrastructures. And all solution blocks are pre-tested and scalable, of course. In order to support you as a partner to get more into the solution area, Fujitsu provide a lot of materials to you. So, for instance, we have on a regular basis trainings, also with hands-on, which we offer on a regular basis to the channel partners, as well as we have a lot of white papers for Hyper-V, for VMware, for storage and network topologies, as well as for backup. And we also have a great library which includes many sample configurations. You see a screenshot on the right side where we have for every solution block a sample configuration, mostly in an entry and an advanced version. And we also, when it comes to marketing and sales, we also provide a lot of materials which can be easily adapted to your needs. So that's all for the moment, and we are actually at the end of our presentation. So I would propose that we open the lines and be available for all question comments you have.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, your question and answer session will now begin. If you wish to ask a question, please key star, then 1 on your telephone, record your name, then press the hash key. If you then decide to withdraw your question, simply key star and 2. All questions will be answered in the order received, and you'll be advised when to ask your question. All other lines will remain on listen only. Alternatively, you may submit a question on the web by typing in your question in the question and answer section on your screen and clicking on the Ask button. So just to remind you, if you do wish to ask a question, please key star, then 1 on your telephone, record your name, and press the hash key. We do have a question on the web for you, and it's asking, will the presentation be available for download?
Yes, the presentation will be available afterwards. We will, Mike, can you give some?
Yeah, we will provide you with this presentation as well as with the recording. These files can be found as usual within the extranet on the, I hope so, known places. But in order to be sure that every one of you receives the right link, I will send a link to all participants within this call tomorrow. So if you want to, you can download then the presentation as well as the recording file.
Thanks, Mike.
We have no further questions at the moment for you, gentlemen.
Okay. So no further questions also on the audio line.
That's correct. Just to remind you again, ladies and gentlemen, if you do wish to ask a question, please key star, then 1 on your telephone, record your name, and press the hash key. We still have no further questions for you on the web or the audio.
Okay, thanks very much. I hope that we could give you a good overview about the virtualization stuff. I know there's a lot of stuff here, and we are not able to cover all the things. So please also check the material we have on our partner website, Extranet website. As I mentioned before, we have a lot of white papers, a lot of presentation, which gives you a better insight into the virtualization solutions. So let me thank you for your time, and we all wish you a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That concludes your conference call for today. You may now disconnect. Thank you for joining, and have a very good day.